Hi everyone, welcome back to Katarina's Garage. My name is Katarina Lloyd, and today, I'm at Bucks here in Calgary, and well, we're gonna see what's all here in the junkyard. I already grabbed a couple parts for myself, stuff that I needed. So yeah, now it's just seeing what we can find in here. So let's go see what's all around. Alright, so anytime I see one of these Honda CR-Vs of this vintage, I always want to check for something. And is it here? No, sadly it's not. Because these actually came with a picnic table that can actually be worth a decent amount of money. You can pick them up for next to nothing at the junkyard, and people will pay $200-300 for them. So that's always a nice little find for that. These are great vehicles. Enthusiasts love them, and yeah, let's see what else we can find in here. Actually, something that's beside this Volvo. Is this the 6 or the 8? Judging by no V8 badges, I'm gonna assume this is the 4-liter V6. So if you ever find one of these Explorers and they happen to have the 5-liter in them, their heads can be worth a pretty penny. They're GT40/GT40P heads, depending on which year, and they made about 260 horsepower with the 302s that they had. So it's a good find. Also, with the 8.8s, they typically had like 373 rear ends too. These little things with the 5-liter can be an absolute rocket of a little car. 1 Jeep Cherokee, 2 Jeep Cherokee, 3 Jeep Cherokee, 4 Jeep Cherokee, 5 Jeep Cherokee. All the Jeep Cherokees. Jeep, you know, a Wrangler, or potentially a little older. Actually, I think that's TJ. A Sidekick, which is kind of cool, and a Bronco too. You know, way over here in the corner. I swear this thing was here 2 years ago. Cause yeah, wasn't this the? I swear my friend grabbed some parts off this, but maybe I'm thinking there was a Ranger that was exactly like right in this area that she grabbed parts off of, because like there was a gauge surround and a couple other little parts. But yeah, honestly, these Bronco 2s, what's interesting about them is Ford had a thing going on throughout the 70s and 80s of just not caring as much about the safety of people. And these had a tendency to roll over pretty well. And it was an oversight that they found at the factory, but Ford said, the death liabilities were actually cheaper to pay out than actually fixing all of the cars. Then turns out they had to fix all the cars anyways, which is exactly what happened with the Pinto as well, except for those didn't roll over. Those just blew up if you rear-ended them. But yeah, Ford in the 70s and 80s, it's a little interesting. Also, more Cherokees. Just put it out there. More of them. And a Grand Cherokee Limited. Now, these actually, so depending on what year this one is, this could actually be a 5.9. I don't think it is though. Where's the sticker on it? It's up here. I can't see it, sadly. It's kind of blocked by the hood. But yeah, these can have, you know, the 318 or the 5.9. The 5.9 is actually quite the little rarity. And they're quite the sleeper that way too, kind of like those Explorers over there. But yeah, see what else we can find. Actually, here we go. So check this thing out. So somebody, I guess, wanted to make their own version of like Stubby Bob from Roadkill, and well, it ended up in here, which is sad because this thing's cool as hell. You know, they chopped the frame, you can tell, and they were gonna move it up. They chained it, you know, ratchet straps, everything. And yeah, because with Stubby Bob, if you remember, they put the motor back here, like a blown motor, and then they was popping wheelies all the time. It was freaking awesome. Yeah, this one still has, it's not even a flathead V8. This is the flathead 6, which actually, this is not a Ford. This is an International, I think. So that would make sense of why it's a 6 and not a 4. But very cool, honestly. Very, very neat truck. Yeah, this thing would make an epic wheelie popper. Here we have a Toyota Hi-Ace, which you don't see these things hardly ever. I love the paint scheme on it and everything. And these were made throughout the 80s, early 80s, and oh my god, there's a treasure trove of parts back here. Like there's a lower air dam for it. There's a grill in here. Wow. If somebody's looking for parts, they need to come get this thing like RFN, because yeah, this thing is still looks to be relatively complete. Because I'm pretty sure this is a high ace anyways. These little vans, and they're mid-engined. And you know, they got this wedge shape and everything. It's just really, really cool. Too bad these fog lights are damaged, because they're kind of neat, you know, see those. But a very awesome old van. That was a Vandura 2500 high top. Makes me miss mine. It's got flames on it. Mint. See, now this is a rarity in the junkyard. So here we have an old Toyota pickup, right? SR5. These usually don't get in here, but I can kind of see why it's in here. Look at all this rust here. Because this is the old T100, right? This was their full-size truck in the 90s. It, you know, after the Hilux, right? Because the Hilux was a small one, this is the bigger one. And, yeah, no. This predates the Toyota Tundra. But, like I said, it's very rare to find one of these in a junkyard. So when you do see one, there are treasure trove of parts. I'm surprised this thing hasn't been, like, completely stripped at this point. But depends how long it's been in here, I suppose. Or if people even know about it. But it was really funny. So, okay. Smart car. Smart car. Smart car. Trans Am. Actually, it might just be a Firebird. I know it is a Trans Am. Yeah, a Trans Am convertible here in the junkyard. Man, that is such a shame. Last generation of it, too. This would have had an LS in it, like most likely, depending on what year this one is. You know, they just took everything out of it. So it would have been 4L60, I think. LS, they took the hood, because the hood would have had these big snorkels on it, too. And, yeah, 5.7. So, and depending on what year this one is, if anybody wants to try and decode that, it could have either been an LT one or an LS one. Likely LS, though. And such a shame that it's in here. I like these a lot. Like them very much so. But do I ever want to work on one? God, no. These things are a nightmare and a half to work on. You know, like to, if you want to change the fuel pump, you know, you have to drop the entire rear axle and stuff like that out of it. It's really stupid. You know, we have 1 Fiero, 2 Fiero, 3 Fiero. The Fiero actually was made from, I think it was 1982 to 1986 or 87. It was GM's first attempt at a mid-engined vehicle for public, because technically, yes, they did have a Corvette in the 60s that was mid-engine as well, but that never made it to production. And these are, so this one's a 4-banger. This one's motor's missing, and I don't know about that one, but basically they had the 2M4 and the GT. The GT had a 2.8 V6. The 2M4 had the 2.5 in it that was called the Iron Duke. And the problem is that they actually could get an oil leak right above the exhaust manifold, and they would catch on fire. So they had to recall all of them with the 2M4 in them. The V6 didn't have those problems, but so that 2.8 V6 wasn't exactly an amazing motor. But yeah, they're really cool motors, though. Really cool cars, though. I like Fieros. You know, we got a Bourbon, square body Chevy, and this awesome old Ford here. Check this thing out. It's kind of a shame this is in here, because it's actually in fairly decent shape. Like, is this worth a ton? No, but this thing going down the road would be, I don't know, 1,500, 2 grand. It's a 78 or 79. Let's see, what motor do we have under the hood? I have difficulties trying to figure this one out. Okay, this is the 400 modified under the hood here. Okay, pretty common to see in here. You know, somebody put a, is that a Super Cell coil? Or is that just a yellow coil? It is a Super Cell coil. I am tempted to steal that. I don't know if it's any good, but I'm tempted to take it. Because, yeah, they're, honestly, I like those coils. I have one, but, you know, that's just a nice little upgrade on it. And, you know, automatic, bench seat, headliner too, look at that. These were a nice truck back in the day, and to be honest, these will go down the road in comfort. Even a 3/4 ton will not be that uncomfortable going down the road. So, big fan of these Fords from this era. All right, well, here we have, so now we're getting into the really cool stuff. So this is a, is this a Fairlane or is this a Galaxy Fastback? It is a Galaxy, okay. So Galaxy 500 Fastback. It's about a 68 or so. And man, this thing is a beast. Look at this thing, man. Such a shame that's in here actually, but you know, it's one of these things. This would probably be a bit of a harder sell if it's not just running and driving down the road, because the parts are not going to be easy, because my dad owned a 1970 Galaxy and parts from a 68 or 69 would not fit it. It was just kind of done. The mechanical parts would, but any of the trim or whatever else, or some of the mechanical stuff actually wouldn't. It was just proprietary to each year. So kind of a dumb thing. But no, I love this little Galaxy here. And then we have a two-door Caprice, by the looks of it. You know, this one's been pretty pillaged at this point. But bench seat, you know, everything in here. This thing has wicked patina on it. I like it. You know, and this was GM's full-size car from, I mean, this is either a Caprice or a Impala, I think, unless if it's a Buick or an Oldsmobile or a Pontiac. It's really hard to tell when there's no grill or anything like that in them. But, yeah, no, let's go around to the other side. I would love to own one of these Fastback Galaxies, but, you know, just not in the cards. So it was sold at Brooks Chevrolet, and this was an Impala. Okay, so there you go. So this was the top of the line for Chevrolet. Back then, the Caprice was the base model, followed by the Impala being the fully loaded one. But yeah, pretty cool. All right, we're gonna branch off for a second here to check out the Fox bodies over here. Now, I already took the hood and the hubcaps off this one. It's too bad that the other 10-hole wasn't here, because I might actually take the whole set of wheels, because those 10 holes are actually in pretty good shape overall. But there's only 3 of them, so I'm not even gonna bother. But yeah, so there's one Fox body here. You know, hatchback. There's not much left of it, because someone chopped the front end off this one. And yeah, honestly, it's pretty cool, you know, hatchback and everything. And I'm assuming it was a V8, and that's why the motor's gone. Just my guess. I mean, that is a small block Ford bolt pattern there. So, and it looks like that input shaft is, yep, small block Ford as well. So this was definitely a 5-liter car. But, and depending on what year this one is, because I think this one is an Aero. So going off of that, actually no, it's not an Aero, it's a 4i. What am I talking about? The sail panels are there. So this, yeah, it wouldn't have made a ton of power being a 4i 5-liter, but it's a good basis to go off of. And then there's another 5-liter car here. This one is an 85, and it's actually kind of a shame it's in here. This is actually a very clean car. I took the hood off this one and the hubcaps, and you can see the CFI unit. This is Ford's kind of attempt at fuel injection back in the 80s, and it did not work all that well. These were prone to overfueling and blowing up your engine. Ask me how I know. I had an 86 3.8 car with that same injection system, and it just destroyed that motor. Such a shame, because if it was a carburetor, it would have been fine. But yeah, not too bad, honestly. You know, not bad at all. And it's just, this is a car that if I saw it on, say, like Marketplace or whatever else like that, I'd be tempted to buy it. Actually, is that this car? Come to think of it, I wonder if this is that same car. There was a black, like 85 or 86 on Marketplace forever. And I think this is it. No, actually, that was a notchback. Never mind. That was a notchback. But it was like kind of a hurting car. So, yeah. Pretty sad. Pretty sad. But yeah, let's go back to classic Landia instead of Fox Body Land. 1 little mini, 2 little mini, 3 little mini. All right, let's start from the inside and work our ways out. So this is an AMC Eagle wagon. This one, I don't know what year this one exactly is, but it was the inline 6. That's a good sign. It's an automatic, which is pretty typical. And these were a very popular car in their day because it was one of the only commercially available 4x4 vehicles that you could buy. You know, because Audi's all-wheel drive stuff was just too expensive. Well, this wasn't too bad. And your typical family could afford something like this. And now that 258 inline six, honestly, is one of the best inline sixes ever created. It's one of the few engines that could hold a candle to the 300 cubic inch Ford inline six. One of the few. Now, the Ford might be slightly better, but these motors will go forever too. So it's one of these things, and I love these cars to pieces. The Eagle was made from, it was 1981 right up until 1987. In 1987, Chrysler acquired the AMC Corporation so that they could own Jeep, and AMC died shortly after. So yeah, the last vestiges of AMC right here, which also the AMC Eagle was basically an AMC Hornet, which was also a Spirit, which was also a Concorde, which I think there's one more, but I can't think of the name of it. But yeah, no, honestly. And oh, wait a minute, is this the plastic or metal one? Why did somebody leave this behind? If they don't want much for that, I might actually just take that, because yeah, no, I'm grabbing that, because these typically had a plastic valve cover that were hot garbage. So to see this and it's uncracked, so yeah, no, I'm taking this. Because who knows, maybe I'll get one of these straight sixes someday. So here we go. We have this whole thing, which, is this an old Studebaker or something like that? I can't really tell. It's been pillaged pretty good. It's got suicide doors in the back, bench seat, you know, no dash in it, almost no identifying marks at all. But somebody can correct me down in the comments, I'm sure. But yeah, it's very cool. Whatever this is. It almost looks like somebody tried to create this into a pickup truck, because you can see like how it's cut like that. Huh, that's neat. Here we have a Ford Ranchero from about 74-ish, maybe 75. Has a 2-barrel on it. And what is this engine? Because is that a Windsor or is that a modified? I have a difficult time trying to identify a Windsor versus a modified. This one is a 351 modified. There you go. So actually I can see it now. The wider heads on it, definitely a modified, which is like a modified Cleveland. You know, this was not the last vestige of the Ranchero, but pretty close, because this is like a 73, 74-ish with this front end, maybe 75. But the Ranchero died in 1978 after it was based, because this is based off the Torino, but then they went to the LTD and they kind of just like killed it entirely. But these are very, very cool. You know, there's a couple of hoods back here. That's a square body hood. I don't know what that hood is back there, but, and this was sold in Edmonton. New Waterloo, Edmonton Ford. Such a shame, but you know, you can't save them all, right? Let's continue on here. Ooh, a Mercury Cougar, which is seeing better days. This is early 70s, like 71 to like 74 or 73-ish Mercury Cougar. These are some of my favorites, actually. I love these cars. A lot of people are not as big of a fan of them, but I am. You know, and yeah, this is when the Cougar got big, you know, because the Cougar up to 1970 was just a different version of the Ford Mustang, but they decided afterwards, let's just make it a big luxury coupe, and this is what they came up with. But overall, I dig it a lot. Let's see, we got this awesome Lincoln Town Coupe, I think, or is this a Mark V that doesn't have the opera windows though? No, it is a Mark V. Okay, just seeing the bump on the trunk, so it's a Continental. This thing is freaking neat. It should have a 460 in it, depending on what year this is. No, actually it is the 400 modified, so this would be a 79 then. Just very, very cool. I like these a lot. One of my dad's favorite cars is actually a Lincoln Mark V, and I'd love to buy him one someday, but these things are a headache if you want them as a project. But if you get one that's good to go, then it's not so bad. And this was a there's some sort of edition. I can't really read that properly, but yeah, you know, trunk that you can fit like 8 bodies. Pretty cool. And then beside that, I want to say this is an old Valiant convertible, like a 62-ish, 63, somewhere in there. You don't see these very often, unless this is a Rambler, because I get Ramblers and Valiants confused quite a bit, but I can't actually tell. What was this? Okay, well, somebody actually rebuilt the motor in this thing at one point, because there's actually a stamp on the firewall. But I want to say this is a Valiant, but I don't know for sure. But I really do dig it, though. Here we have a Lincoln Town Car. It's the same thing as that, but slightly different body lines on it. They're a lot more squared off, and the Lincoln Mark Series never came as a 4-door. Well, these obviously were almost exclusively 4-doors. They didn't make some 2-doors, but it was mostly 4-doors. And you can see the old, you know, quadrasonic tape, you know, auto seeking. It's pretty cool, actually. Old radio, very vintage. And you know, there you go. This is a collector series, and yeah, it's got the turbines on it and everything. I like that. Ugh, the valve cover's getting a little heavy. But like I said, I am gonna buy this though, because who knows? I might get one someday, and I might need it. Here we have a Valiant wagon, or possibly a no, not Valiant. Sorry, Volare, or a, oh god, what was the Dodge version of these called? Can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. Dodge, ugh, it eludes me. But this car, it wasn't exactly Dodge's best vehicle. They're kind of cool though. I'm a fan of these, but naturally, these were popular back in the day, but they weren't exactly the best vehicles in the world, because the Plymouth was the Volare, but the Dodge, it eludes me, but that's okay. It'll come to me later, I'm sure. Like, I'll be halfway home and be like, that's what it was, you know. But yeah, they were made from 1974, I believe, until 1979. Actually, no, 1980 was the final year. So, yeah, very cool. You know, here we have a shoebox. Is this a Chevy or a Ford? Shoebox Ford, there you go. You see the flathead V8 under the hood, you know? Very, very cool. And yeah, it is a sedan, but let's be honest. This is back when they actually thought of how to design a sedan. They didn't just tack on doors and call it good, right? This, I like a lot. Now here we have this old International pickup from, I want to say, oh, actually it's not a pickup. This is a Travelall from like 65 maybe, give or take. It's no later than like 67 though. So it might be like 63-ish, because like seeing the kind of fins that it has in the body here. Yeah, no, this is cool. This was their kind of wagon, like family wagon for International. And they were actually decently popular back in the day, but now they're very scarce. You almost never see these anymore. But overall, very, very cool. Beside that, we have a Dodge Dart sedan. This one is a later 70s, just because of these big bumpers on it. It's probably like a 75 to 77-ish, maybe even 74. But yeah, you know, the V8 under the hood, it's probably 318. And it's kind of hurting, but these are a very popular car, and like, you know, somebody took the front seats out of it and everything. But it's a 4-door, so it's not as desirable, because like the door panels, as an example, don't interchange for like the 2 doors and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't care about 4-doors. A lot of people still see 4-doors as the as like parts cars or as demo derby cars, and it's kind of a shame because they're getting very hard to come by nowadays. Another old Ford pickup. You know, I love these old Fords. This one's 70s. Let's see if I can see the front end. I'll know for sure of approximate year. This one is, okay, it's like a 75 to 77-ish with this grill. And, you know, nice little, is that a 460? I think it is. There you go, it's 77, look at that. Those are date-coded plug wires. Wow, even, holy crap. This is all, wow, that is surprising. That is really effing cool, yeah, because this is a 460, right? Yep, it is. I'm surprised somebody hasn't yanked this motor out yet, but, you know, somebody might come for it. Because 460s are some of your biggest bang for your buck when it comes to building out for a big block, honestly. Because yeah, like the 454 exists too, but the 454s are getting kind of hard to come by, where 460s you can find just about everywhere. Find an old Lincoln or find a old truck like this in a junkyard, and typically has a 460 in it. So yeah, overall, very, very cool. Big fan. I think this is an old Ford that's split in half now. That's kind of sad, but hey, you know what? That happens. And actually, oh no, this is a Mopar. Yeah, that's like a, this is like a 2-door satellite or something. Man, such a shame. But somebody needed the frame rails out of it, I guess, because that's why it's like this. Oh man, that is sad. Very sad. But then beside that, we have a Studebaker Lark, little 2-door. These, they made these in the early 60s, and even I think in the late 50s as well, from Studebaker. This was their little compact offering back then. I don't know how popular these exactly were, because I wasn't around back then, and people typically don't talk about the little Lark, right? At least I'm pretty sure it's a Lark anyways. But yeah, it's pretty neat. And then beside that, we have an 80s Pontiac Firebird. And was this a turbo with that in it? No, it's a V8, so okay. It just happens to have the bump in the hood. I was like, wait a minute, is this one of these like really rare like late 80s 3.8 turbo Trans Ams, because they're like super, super rare and one of the fastest cars of the 80s, because they were more aerodynamic than a Grand National. But honestly, I'm getting very tired here. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. So thank you all so much for watching, and hope you did enjoy. Please like the video, comment anything you want to see down below, subscribe to the channel as well, and also if you go on to flashsharkracing.com and use code CAT15, you'll get 15% off all of your orders. Again, that code is KAT15 at checkout. So anyways, thank you, and hope to see you next video. Also, awesome finned valve cover.